The quiet hum of the airplane engines was almost soothing, almost. Claire sat rigid in seat 24A, staring at her trembling hands as they fumbled with a handful of coins and a crumpled $5 bill. Her son, Caleb, 6 years old and fast asleep beside her, clutched his stuffed dinosaur to his chest. He looked so peaceful, his small mouth parted in innocent dreams, unaware of how close they'd come to missing this flight, unaware that his mother was barely holding their little world together. Claire's eyes welled as she counted again. $28.62. That was all she had left in the world. No savings. No home anymore. She'd fled her ex-husband's anger 2 days ago with nothing but a suitcase, a child, and just enough cash for 2 one-way tickets from Denver to Boston, where her sister had promised a couch and a fresh start. But as the snack cart rolled closer and her stomach knotted with hunger, she realized they hadn't eaten since yesterday morning. "Would you like something to drink, ma'am?" the flight attendant asked, her polite smile bright but distant. Claire forced a weak smile, her eyes darting to the tiny bags of pretzels and overpriced sandwiches. Caleb needed to eat. She handed over $2 for a bag of pretzels and a small bottle of water. She gave the pretzels to her son, deciding she'd wait until they landed to worry about herself. But as she tucked the change back into her pocket, her hands began to shake harder. She hated that Caleb had to see her like this. She hated that she couldn't even afford a sandwich on a plane. She closed her eyes and whispered a silent prayer. "Please, let me get through this. Let me find a way to make things better for him." It was then that she heard a soft voice beside her. "Excuse me, is everything all right?" Claire opened her eyes to see a man in his mid-50s seated across the aisle. He wore a navy blazer over a crisp shirt, his kind brown eyes studying her with quiet concern. She forced another smile. "Oh, yes, thank you. We're fine." But he didn't look convinced. His gaze dropped to the coins still clutched in her palm. "You know," he said after a pause, "my wife used to say that pride can be heavier to carry than need." Claire blinked at him, startled. "I don't mean to intrude," he continued gently, "but I can't help noticing you seem worried. If there's anything I can do." Her throat tightened, and she shook her head quickly. We're okay. Really. Just tired." But something about the way he looked at her, as if he truly saw her, not just some woman on a plane, made the words stick in her throat. "The dam broke." "I'm sorry," she whispered, her voice cracking. "It's just been a hard few days. I'm trying to get my son to Boston." "I don't," she stopped herself, tears spilling down her cheeks. The man's eyes softened. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small leather wallet. Without a word, he slid a folded $100 bill across the aisle to her tray table. Claire stared at it, stunned. "Oh, no, I can't. I can't take that." He smiled faintly. "It's already yours. I just had the privilege of handing it to you." Her lip trembled. Why would you do this?" "Because once, someone did it for me," he said simply. "I was a young father, on my way to bury my own mother. I didn't have enough to pay for her funeral. A stranger on a bus gave me the money to do right by her. He told me to pay it forward." The man reached into his wallet again and this time handed her a business card. "Call me when you're back on your feet. Not to pay me back," he added quickly, "but to tell me how you and your boy are doing." Claire took the card with shaking hands. The name read Daniel Hayes, Hayes & Company. Investments. The rest of the flight passed in a blur. When they landed in Boston, Caleb awoke, clutching her hand, asking if they could get pancakes. She smiled through her tears and said, "Yes, sweetheart. Pancakes sound perfect." As they stepped off the plane into the bustling terminal, Claire turned to look for Daniel one last time, but he was already gone, lost in the sea of travelers. That night, sitting on her sister's couch, Claire wept as she counted the crisp bills he'd given her. Enough for groceries, warm clothes for Caleb, and maybe even a little left over to start looking for work. She vowed, then and there, that someday she'd be the stranger who made someone else feel seen. Someday, she'd pay it forward too. And so she did. Because kindness, like love, is never really lost, it just finds a new home in another heart. No act of kindness is ever wasted. A stranger's compassion can change a life, and inspire someone else to do the same.